Your first $100,000. The turning point. An audiobook. Welcome to Wealth and Wellness, your go-to channel for building real, long-term wealth. And living a healthy, fulfilling life. Because here, we believe that health is your very first and most important wealth. And everything else comes after that. Introduction. Hey. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So glad you are here today. Because today, we are doing something a little different. And honestly, something I am super pumped about. We are diving deep into a story. A real, powerful, true story. That is going to completely flip the way you think about money, about building wealth, and about what it actually takes to go from zero to financial freedom. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh great, another money video. But hold on. This one is different. Because this is not just about making money once. This is about building a system. A real, repeatable system. That keeps generating wealth for you, over and over again. And here is the thing. Most of us, especially in America, we have been told that your life changes when you hit your first million. Right? The first million is the big deal. The magic number. But guess what? That is not actually where the magic starts. The real turning point. The real game changer. Is your first $100,000. Your first $100,000. Because if you earn that first $100,000 the right way, with a system and a process behind it, then the path to $1 million, $5 million, $10 million becomes so much clearer and easier. But if you just stumble into $100,000 without a system, without a real process, then even $1 million can feel out of reach. And that is exactly what we are going to explore today. Through the incredible journey of a young kid from Thailand, whose story contains 5 powerful lessons that are going to change how you think about wealth forever. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Chapter 1. The boy who thought he had it all figured out. Alright, so picture this. The year is 2004. And there is this 19-year-old kid in Thailand. Let's call him Top. Because that is his name. And Top walks into one of the biggest banks in Thailand. Now, he doesn't look like a business mogul. He looks like your average college freshman. The kind of guy you would see at Starbucks doing homework. But Top does not walk to the teller window. He does not go to the savings account desk. No. He walks straight up to the loan department. And tells the officer, "I need a loan. A big one." But before we get to that bank scene, let's rewind. Because to understand where Top is going, you gotta understand where he came from. Top was a regular teenage kid with big dreams. But zero focus in school. Sound familiar? Yeah. We all know that guy. Maybe we were that guy. He was the kind of student whose report card gave his parents heart attacks. His grades were terrible. His future looked uncertain. And his parents were worried sick. But here is what his parents didn't know. Top was out there in the online gaming world. Absolutely crushing it. While other kids were studying for exams, Top was trading virtual items in online games. Making real money from it. Think about this like a kid today who's killing it on eBay flipping sneakers, or making bank on Roblox or Steam trading in-game items. Right? That kind of hustle. That was Top. And then one day, he hit the jackpot. He traded a rare virtual item and walked away with the equivalent of about $1,000 to $1,200. Now that might not sound like a lot to some of us. But for a teenager in Thailand at that time, that was serious money. So what does a confident teenage boy do when he suddenly has a big chunk of cash? He buys a car. Of course he does. Top rolled up to school in his new ride. Impressing his classmates. Impressing his girlfriend. Feeling like he had cracked the code of life. He thought, I figured it out. This is it. I am going to be rich. But then, as quickly as it started, it all fell apart. The gaming company flagged his account for suspicious activity. Banned him. Just like that. No warning. No appeal. His income stream. Gone. Overnight. And now he is sitting there with a depreciating car. Empty pockets. And a cold reality check staring him right in the face. This chapter teaches us one of the most important lessons in personal finance. And it is a lesson that Morgan Housel drives home beautifully in The Psychology of Money. The lesson is this. Earning money once is not the same as building wealth. Top made money once. But he had no system. No plan. No discipline. And the moment the source dried up, so did everything else. This happens to people every single day in America. Someone wins a lawsuit settlement. Hits a bonus at work. Gets an inheritance. And within a year or two, it is gone. Because they had money. But they did not have wealth. There is a massive difference. Chapter 2. When reality hits different. Now here is where the story gets real. Really real. Top's parents were already struggling financially. We are not talking about tight budget struggling. We are talking about serious debt. Deep financial stress. The kind of stress that makes people argue in hushed voices at night hoping the kids don't hear. But Top heard. One night, he overheard his parents fighting about money. And not just a little bit of money. They were buried under a mountain of debt. And the situation was so bad. They were actually considering leaving the country just to escape it. And that right there. That moment. Changed everything for Top. For the first time in his life. He felt the difference between wanting money and needing money. Up until that point. Top wanted money for the fun stuff. The status. The car. The freedom. The thrill. But now. For the first time. He needed money. Not for himself. But for his family. To save his family. He was ashamed. He had held $1,000 in his hands. And he blew it on a car and gas and showing off. Had he been smarter? More responsible? Maybe he could have helped his parents. Maybe he could have made a dent in that debt. And this is where something powerful shifts inside of Top. A concept that Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich and that David Schwartz echoes in The Magic of Thinking Big. It is the power of a meaningful, emotionally charged purpose. When your goal stops being about ego and starts being about something bigger than yourself. Something real and painful and urgent. That is when people stop playing around and start actually executing. Think about it in American terms. You know how many people say they want to get healthy but keep skipping the gym. But then a doctor tells them, if you don't change, you're looking at diabetes or a heart attack, and suddenly they are at the gym at 5 a.m. every single morning. That is the power of a real, urgent purpose. It transforms ambition. For Top, responsibility became his rocket fuel. Chapter 3. Failure is just expensive education. Okay, so now that Top has his fire. His real purpose. He starts hustling hard. But here is the thing. His first few attempts. Total disasters. First. He finds a local shop selling DVDs in bulk at insanely low prices. Top thinks he has found a gold mine. He takes what little money he has left. Buys a big batch of DVDs. Thinking he will flip them for a huge profit. Classic arbitrage play. Right? Think of it like buying something cheap on Facebook Marketplace and reselling it on eBay. Simple concept. Solid strategy. But when he gets home and checks the DVDs, they are all defective. They don't play. He got scammed. He goes back to the shop owner furious. But instead of getting his money back, the shop owner intimidates him, yells at him, and physically runs him off. Strike one. Next. Top spots an opportunity at a local fair. A guy is roasting chestnuts. And the smell. Oh man, the smell. Is pulling in customers like a magnet. Top thinks, I can do this. He buys the equipment, sets up a small stall, and starts selling roasted chestnuts. Now this time, unlike the DVD disaster, Top actually does his homework first. He goes around to other chestnut sellers, asks questions, learns the craft. He figures out where to position his stall, how to display his product, how to price it. He learns that customers are more likely to stop and buy when they have a reason to pause, like at traffic lights or busy intersections. He learns that visual presentation matters, and that the aroma is his best sales tool. Think about it like a food truck owner in Austin or Portland who figures out where to park by studying foot traffic patterns. That is smart, data-driven hustle. And honestly, his chestnut business starts doing better. He is learning, adapting, getting real-world MBA-level education that no college classroom was going to give him. But then, the mall where he was set up tells him to stop, because the roasting smoke was staining the ceiling. He tries to fix it by repainting, but the maintenance crew won't let him work during business hours. The watchman blocks him at night. His stall at the mall is essentially getting pushed out. Around the same time, the family financial crisis hits a breaking point. His parents make the painful decision to leave the country. They ask Top to come with them, but Top refuses. He stays behind with a supportive uncle, determined to figure it out. Strike two. Kinda. But here is what makes Top different from everyone who gives up. He treats every failure as feedback, not as a verdict on his worth. This is exactly what Seth Godin talks about in The Dip. Every meaningful goal, every real path to success, comes with dips. Deep valleys of failure and disappointment where most people quit. But the people who push through the dip, they are the ones who come out the other side with something real. In America, we celebrate the success story, but we skip over the grind. We hear about Jeff Bezos or Sarah Blakely, but we don't talk about the years of rejection and failure before the breakthrough. This chapter is about those years, and why they matter more than the highlight reel. Chapter 4. The accidental discovery that changed everything. Alright. Now here is where the story gets really interesting. And honestly, a little cinematic. So Top's chestnut business is fizzling out. He is discouraged, running low on hope and cash. And one day, he goes to visit his girlfriend, just to get his mind off things. His girlfriend hands him a snack, a fried seaweed chip. And Top takes a bite. And something happens. It tastes amazing. It is better than the chestnuts. It is light, crispy, a little salty, totally addictive. And in that moment, Top's brain starts firing. He looks around and realizes, hardly anyone is selling this locally. Most of the seaweed snacks in stores are imported and expensive. What if I made my own? Now you might be thinking, this sounds like every startup origin story. But here is what makes Top's version different. He does not just think about it. He acts on it immediately. He sells his old chestnut equipment, pools his remaining cash, buys raw seaweed, and starts experimenting. But making a good fried seaweed chip, it turns out, is actually really hard. Batch after batch, he fails. Sometimes the chips burn. Sometimes they are too oily. Sometimes the texture is off. The flavor isn't right. Batch after batch after batch. He and his uncle spend days, then weeks, trying to crack the recipe. And the raw material keeps getting used up. The money keeps draining. The pressure keeps building. And then one night, everything comes crashing down. Literally. Top comes home to find his uncle collapsed on the floor, bleeding from his head. He had fallen. And when he fell, a box of their remaining raw seaweed went with him, spilling into a puddle of water on the floor. Top rushes his uncle to the hospital. Thankfully, the uncle is okay. But that night, when Top gets back home, exhausted, scared, broke, with almost nothing left, he sees those soaking wet seaweed pieces still lying there. He was about to throw them away. But instead, something told him to try them. He picks them up, soaks them for a few more hours, and then fries them. And boom! The texture is perfect. Light. Crispy. Not too oily. Not too heavy. The taste is incredible. The water-soaking process, the thing that happened by pure accident, turned out to be the secret technique that unlocked the perfect chip. You know what this reminds me of? How post-it notes were invented. Spencer Silver at 3 meter was trying to create a super strong adhesive, and accidentally made one that was barely sticky. Years later, a colleague used it to bookmark his hymn book, and the post-it note was born. Accidents, when you are paying attention, are some of the greatest teachers in the world. Top paid attention, and that fried seaweed chip became the product that would change his life. Chapter 5. From Street Vendor to System Builder. Okay. So now Top has a product. He and his uncle start selling their seaweed chips, and customers love it. They price it slightly below the imported alternatives, because they are making it locally, which means better margins and better value for the customer. Win-win. Sales start climbing. And for the first time in a long time, Top hits a milestone. His very first $100,000 equivalent in earnings. But here is the critical thing. And this is where the book's central lesson really lands. This $100,000 is completely different from the first time he had money as a teenager. That first $1,000 came from luck. From a rare gaming item. And it was spent on ego. On a car. On impressing people. There was no system. No learning. No foundation. But this $100,000. This came from trial and error. From consumer psychology. From learning packaging, pricing, distribution, and customer behavior. From dozens of failures and adjustments. From a real product that solved a real need. This $100,000 was proof of a skill set. Not a windfall. A skill set. And then Top has a realization. His family's debt is not just a few $1,000s. It is in the millions. $100,000 is not going to cut it. He needs a system that generates $100,000 over and over and over again. Not once, but every single month. And that realization leads to his next transformation. Instead of just selling to the few customers he could reach himself, he starts thinking bigger. How do you get a product in front of thousands, even millions of people? He looks around Thailand. And the answer is everywhere. 7-Eleven. In Thailand. 7-Eleven stores are on literally every corner. Every neighborhood. Every city. Millions of daily foot traffic customers. Think about it like getting your product into Walmart, Target, or Costco in America. If you can crack distribution like that, you are not selling to hundreds of customers. You are selling to millions. So Top puts on his best outfit, walks into 7-Eleven's corporate headquarters, and pitches his seaweed chips. The director looks at the product and immediately says no. The packaging looks cheap. The bag looks amateurish. There is no way they can put that on their shelves next to national brands. Does Top fall apart? Does he go home and post a rant about how corporate gatekeepers are crushing small businesses? Nope. He takes the rejection as feedback. Goes home. Spends days redesigning his packaging. Makes it look clean, professional, attractive. And walks back into 7-Eleven. The director is too busy to see him. So he just leaves a whole box of his newly packaged product and walks out. The next day, something magical happens. The office employees stumble upon the box, start snacking on the chips, and everyone loves them. Word gets back to the director. She calls Top in, and the order she gives him is 72,000 bags. 72,000 bags. Top almost falls out of his chair. Chapter 6. The moment that defines everything. So, 72,000 bags. That is the order. That is the dream. That is the opportunity of a lifetime. But there is one enormous problem. Top does not have the money, the factory, or the workforce to fulfill an order that size. He goes to the bank, tells his full story to the loan officer. The officer is genuinely moved by Top's journey. But the bank still says no. Because Top is 19, has no credit history, and his family's debt record is catastrophically bad. Rejection from the bank. But remember, this is Top. He does not quit. He starts selling everything he has left. His car. Gone. Every valuable asset he owns. Liquidated. He negotiates with his landlord to use an old, unused space as a makeshift factory. At a discounted rate. He negotiates the renovation costs. He calls in every favor. Recruits every helping hand he can find. And they start manufacturing. Day and night. Packing bags. One by one. Racing against the deadline. They don't quite make it. When they load up their truck and drive to the 7-Eleven warehouse, they are late. And the delivery manager at the loading dock tells them he cannot accept it. All the shipments for that order have already been finalized and packed. Top doesn't leave. He explains everything. He pleads his case. He shows the manager what is in those bags. He asks for one chance. And finally, after a lot of back and forth, the manager agrees to accept the shipment. That delivery, that one moment, is the turning point. The real turning point. Because after that, 7-Eleven starts stocking Top seaweed chips across their stores. And the chips fly off the shelves. Customers love them. Reorder after reorder comes in. Top starts earning millions of Thai baht every single month. He pays off every cent of his family's debt. He flies his parents home. First class. And he gives them back the home they had to leave behind. And that 19-year-old boy who walked into a bank with a piece of paper and his story. He went on to become one of Thailand's youngest billionaires. His seaweed snack brand became one of the most successful in Asia. The 5 lessons. What this all means for you. Alright. Now let's bring it home. Because this story is incredible. But stories are only worth something if we take the lessons and apply them to our real lives. So here are the 5 big takeaways. Lesson 1. Earning money once is not the same as building wealth. The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel nails this perfectly. Top made money as a teenager. But it vanished because there was no system behind it. Real wealth is not about one big paycheck, one bonus, one windfall. Real wealth is what happens when you build a repeatable, scalable system that generates income consistently, month after month, year after year. Lesson 2. Responsibility can transform ambition. As long as Top was chasing money for himself, for ego and status, he was unfocused and reckless. But the moment he took on a bigger purpose, saving his family, he became disciplined, relentless, and strategic. This lines up with what Napoleon Hill teaches in Think and Grow Rich. A powerful emotional purpose doesn't just motivate you. It fundamentally changes how you operate. It upgrades your thinking. In America, we talk a lot about finding your why. This is exactly that. Find a purpose bigger than yourself, and you will shock yourself with what you are capable of. Lesson 3. Failure is expensive education. But it is still education. Top failed. Over and over. He got scammed on DVDs. His chestnut business stalled. His seaweed batches burned. His packaging got rejected. His bank loan got rejected. His delivery was almost refused. Every single one of those moments was a lesson wrapped in disappointment. And every single one of them made him sharper, smarter, and more prepared for the next challenge. Seth Godin's The Dip teaches us that most people quit right before the breakthrough. Top didn't. Don't you quit either. Lesson 4. Hard work alone is not enough. You need a system. Top worked incredibly hard. But he didn't become wealthy because he worked hard. He became wealthy because he built a system. The partnership with 7-Eleven turned him from a small local seller into a large-scale distributor overnight. This is what The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber and The Millionaire Fastlane by M.J. DeMarco both teach. The difference between being self-employed and being a business owner is systems. Self-employed people trade time for money. Business owners build systems that generate money whether they are working or not. Think about franchises. Think about Amazon sellers. Think about course creators. They build the system once, and the system works for them. Lesson 5. Your first $100,000 is symbolic, not just numerical. For some people, the milestone is $10,000. For others, it is $500,000. The number doesn't really matter. What matters is how you earn it. If you earn your first $100,000 through a one-time lucky break, with no process, no system, no understanding of customers or markets, then you are starting over every single time. But if you earn it by building real skills, understanding your customers deeply, creating genuine value, and putting systems in place, then your next $100,000 is faster. And your next one after that is even faster. That is the compounding effect. And it is the most powerful force in wealth building. Summary. Here is the bottom line. This is a story about a boy who made money, lost it, made it again, lost it again, and finally, through real learning, real failure, and real purpose, built something lasting. The most important wealth you will ever build starts not with a dollar amount, but with a mindset shift. From chasing money to creating systems. From seeking shortcuts to embracing the process. From wanting money for ego to needing it for something meaningful. Your first $100,000 is not the finish line. It is the proof of concept. It is the evidence that you have developed the skills, the discipline, and the system to build real, lasting wealth. Once you have that, the path forward opens up in ways you cannot yet imagine. End credits. And that, right there, is where we are going to wrap things up today. I really hope this story hit you the way it hit me the first time I came across it. Because this is not just a story about a kid in Thailand. This is a universal story about what it actually takes to build wealth. It is about persistence, purpose, systems, and the willingness to keep going even when everything says stop. So I want to say a genuine, heartfelt thank you for spending your time here with us today. Your time is your most valuable asset. And I never take it for granted that you chose to spend it here. Thank you. Now, if this audiobook gave you even one idea, one shift in perspective, one thing you are going to do differently, please hit that like button right now. It takes 2 seconds. And it means the world to us. And it helps this content reach more people who genuinely need it. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Because we are here every week bringing you real stories, real lessons, and real strategies for building long-term wealth. And for keeping your health strong. Because remember, health is always your first wealth. Also, drop a comment below. Tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from today's story? Was it the lesson about systems? The power of purpose? Or maybe Top's ability to treat rejection as feedback? I read every single comment. And I would love to hear from you. Until next time, stay healthy, stay focused, and keep building. We will see you in the next one. Wealth and wellness. Long-term wealth. Starting with your health.